in your mind, what gets the job done outside of an all-time performance from Kevin Durant to have the Nets win one of these two games?
See and I'll answer that question by bringing up this point, which I think makes for an interesting conversation. Is James Harden came back and played 46 minutes? Like we're talking about Kevin Durant playing 48. James
Mm-hmm.
Harden played 46, which is
Crazy.
still an incredible amount of minutes, but he wasn't going at full speed. And for him, even though he wasn't hitting his shot, and he clearly wasn't the same guy that could get into the paint like he had all season, where he was an incredible distributor, passing the ball, or going up with some of those floaters and the fouls that gets on everybody's nerves. He couldn't do that. I expect James Harden to be a better version of himself in game number 6. I don't think he's going to miss all of those shots. Remember, he missed every shot he took from the perimeter. I don't expect him to miss those jumpers. So I think James Harden, he's not going to be the same vintage guy that's going to give you 30 kind of points and control the offense and be the incredible superstar that he is. But at the same time, I don't think James is going to be the guy that goes 1 for 10 again. I think Harden's going to settle in between 15 and 20 points, give you more offense, and then take some of the pressure off of Kevin Durant. I expect a better James Harden, which means that Durant can go for 25 to 30. Jeff Green will have a good game, but not that all out of control, 7 for 8 from 3. So to answer your question about what Durant needs to do, I think it's predicated on if James Harden can give them more offense and take away 10 of those 15 points, take away that pressure. He comes in, scores, plays well, then you don't need everything from Durant, because I've talked about and alluded to earlier in our conversation, okay, we need to see Mike James play better. We need to see Joe Harris play better. But what if James Harden all of a sudden gives you more offense? I think that alleviates a lot of the pressure as well. And I think that's a key factor going here into game 6, is just to see how healthy James Harden is and what kind of offense he can give you, because I think everybody now has forgotten about him and just said,
Mm-hmm.
okay, James is there as a distraction. What if James comes out tonight and plays well? It's a completely different series again in Milwaukee.
I'm fascinated to see how both him and KD play tonight. Like Steve Nash
Yeah.
yesterday said that they both were feeling pretty good. To your point, neither expected to play as many minutes as they did. That is, especially Harden, just kind of staying out there the entire time. That's probably more surprising than Kevin Durant playing all 48 minutes. We'll see. I'm very fascinated to see how they do respond tonight. You had Reggie Miller, your boy, suggested they sit out. What were your thoughts on that? Sit out game 6, come back for game 7 fully rested. Are you for that or against that?
I'm totally against it. I understand the idea of let's put all our eggs in the basket of game 7, but to concede a game in my mind is just absolutely ludicrous. I'll put it this way. This is how I look at the scenario for the Nets, and I hope it doesn't get to this point. But like if you're a pitcher and you're out there and it's a 3-0 count, and you know that if you're at this point, you're like, let me just walk this guy. There's no point of giving him a pitch to hit. Let me just get him on base and move on, and we'll take the L. That's what I would say with the Nets. If they're down 20 points in the fourth quarter, you rest everybody. If they're down 26 in the third quarter, okay, there's no need to play them anymore. I know what we saw with Philly last night against the Hawks. But if the game is done, just take the intentional walk and move on. But to start the game, you go into that batter's box, the pitcher's in there, you're trying to throw first pitch strike, you try to get the win. You can't give up games. That's just in this league, when you get this far with this many opportunities, to just throw away L's, I think is absolutely insane.
I will say this. I agree. I totally, wave the white flag at halftime if you have to. I'm with you there. I don't think, though, Reggie Miller's the logic is that wild. I wouldn't do it. I'm with you. He got a lot of pushback, a lot of flack. I don't think it's the craziest idea in the world, considering the amount of minutes that both KD and Harden played. And if they don't, again, it sounds like they're better, like they're not totally sore where they can't move. But man, it's not the craziest thing in the world. I don't think Reggie Miller got dunked on social media, I think unfairly.
I get that, and that's why I bring it back to like when everybody's giving the Nets crap for resting guys on back-to-backs and not playing guys. It's like, oh man, Kevin Durant, not a true leader, couldn't play the Magic back in February after they played the night before against the Suns because they wanted to rest him. Nobody remembers that. It's so that he could go out and play 48 minutes versus the Milwaukee Bucks and give you an all-time effort. It's so that 2 days later he can go out and play because they have rested him and they have had a game plan to be smart with him on back-to-backs that you could get to these moments where he can be extended. Now, I don't say he's going to play 48, but if he plays 36 to 42 minutes tonight, that's the reason you do this, is so you put yourself in a position where you could say Reggie Miller, no, he's going to play games because he took some rest earlier in the year.